This is not a disclaimer, but I am informing you that I cannot pronounce some word or words sometimes because I have my own window. And it's in my teeth because I'm a pangak or just because I'm 100% pistak. Pronouncing word is one of my difficulties, so please bear with me. As I walk you through this presentation, we will talk about atmosphere, the properties of the atmosphere, and the layers of atmosphere. The atmosphere of Earth, commonly known as air, is the layer of gases retained by Earth's gravity that surrounds the planet and form its planetary atmosphere. The atmosphere of Earth protects life on Earth by creating pressure, allowing for liquid water to exist on the Earth's surface, absorbing ultraviolet solar radiation, warming the surface through heat retention, otherwise known as the greenhouse effect, and reducing temperature extremes between day and night, otherwise known as the diurnal temperature variation. The Earth's atmosphere can be divided into five main layers. But before that, let me extend my thanks to Wikipedia. Thank you, Wikipedia, for giving me inspiration to create this short presentation. Also, if you'll notice an underlined text in blue color, please do click on it. The composition of air in the atmosphere. The composition of air in the atmosphere consists of 70% nitrogen, oxygen 21%, and other gases 1%. Now we will talk about the properties of the atmosphere. One of the properties of the atmosphere is called temperature. Simply refers to how hot or cold the air is. Another properties of the atmosphere is the humidity, which refers to the amount of water vapor present in the air. Another properties of the atmosphere is the pressure, which refers to how heavy the air is or how strong the air pushes an object. Another properties of the atmosphere is the density, which refers to air particles or matter per unit of volume. Now we will talk about the layers of the atmosphere. The Earth's atmosphere is the layers of gases which protect the Earth from the radiation and cosmic rays coming from the outer space. Now remember we have five layers. The first layer is the troposphere, around 12 kilometers up or above the Earth. The second layer is stratosphere, 50 kilometers above the Earth. In between the troposphere and stratosphere is the tropopause. The third layer is the mesosphere, around 85 kilometers above the Earth. And in between the stratosphere and the mesosphere is the stratopause. The fourth layer is the thermosphere. It is around 700 kilometers above the Earth. The middle or in between the mesosphere and thermosphere is the mesopause. And lastly, the fifth layer is the exosphere, which is around 1,000 kilometers above the Earth. Now, what is troposphere? Tropos means change. This layer gets its name from the weather that is constantly changing and mixing up the gases in this part of our atmosphere. This layer is the closest to the Earth's surface. On average, the troposphere extends from the ground to about 12 kilometers or 7.5 miles high. The, the troposphere contains about 75% of all the air in the atmosphere and almost all of the water vapor which forms into clouds and rain. So now we'll talk about stratosphere. Strat means layer. This layer of our atmosphere has its own set of layers. The boundary between the stratosphere and troposphere is called the tropopause. It is the region where airplane flies. The stratosphere layer extends from the tropopause to about 50 kilometers or 32 miles above the Earth's surface. This layer contains a thin layer of ozone molecules which form a protective layer and absorb harmful ultraviolet radiation from the sun. The high-altitude weather balloons flying in stratosphere for monitoring atmospheric conditions and climate research is flying in this area. Now we will talk about mesosphere. Meso means middle. This layer is located above the stratosphere and below the thermosphere. It is the third layer in the atmosphere which is 35 kilometers or 22 miles thick. The transition boundary which separates the mesosphere from the stratosphere is called the stratopause. In the mesosphere, fewer air molecules to absorb incoming electromagnetic radiation from the sun. Most meteors burn up in this atmospheric layer. Now we will talk about thermosphere. Thermo means heat. This layer has extremely high temperatures and located above the mesosphere and below the exosphere. The boundary between mesosphere and thermosphere atmospheric region is called the mesopause. It is the coldest part of Earth's atmosphere. The thermosphere extends from mesopause to 700 kilometers or 435 miles above the surface of the Earth. The thermosphere is the thickest layer in the atmosphere. Only the lightest gases, mostly oxygen, helium, and hydrogen, are found here. The aurora and satellite mostly occur in this layer. Now we will talk about exosphere. Exo means outside. The exosphere represents the outermost layer of the Earth's atmosphere. It extends from top of the thermosphere to 10,000 kilometers, around 6,214 miles above the Earth's surface. So that's it, folks. Thank you.